Okay. Oh, look at that. Everything works. First time. I don't have to play with anything. All right. Awesome. So, hey guys, it's been a bit. So, yeah, I'm excited for this week because we finally got a new version of Lacus in the gacha. I know you guys are all making jokes about it, so that's 10 out of 10. Anyways, we're going to go through the normal course of things. Once I'm done looking at the alterations, I'll be rolling for her. I'd contemplated like saving my chips, like, oh, I'll just wait a few weeks. But you know what? Frankly, I might as well just go for it. I'm going to make back everything I roll anyways, so it's not really that big of a deal. Anyways, let's get cracking. We're going to start with looking at the event stuff. We'll look at the event shop, well, welfare, then the event shop. Then we'll hit up the gacha, look at the stuff on Twitter, and then the alterations. Check the Akatsuki banner, new suits, plural. Great. Okay. So, oh wait, we got a Marvel coin and a Akatsuki. Yeah, the Fun Psyche. Okay, cool. And unless I'm mistaken, we also have the new backpack for the Akatsuki as well. We had the was it the Owashi we had? Now we have the Shiranui, or flipped around. Either way, we now have both variants of the Akatsuki. So I'll have to look at that as well. But we'll start off taking a look at the Raider, and we'll go from there. Oh, and we get Clotho as well. Nice. God. So... I can't remember where or what subgroup was responsible for this, but way back, Clotho's translated heavy air quotes name, if I remembering correctly, it was crotch, if I remember correctly, and it was just a really bad translation on that front using the syllables. And it just came to mind as soon as I saw Clotho. My brain was just like, nah, man, remember that really bad translation? I don't want to remember this, but here we are. And because I have to remember it, all of you either are remembering it or are learning about it, so suffer with me. Now, let's get cracking on the Raider Gundam. And I guess we'll go from there. So, the head for the Raider Gundam, Zorn 100mm energy cannon, D-Power. Okay, so it's kind of funny. In Gundam Seed, the Raider Gundam has arguably, like, oh, let me actually turn that brightness up. Just, that's too bright. Okay, that works. Gives me a ruddy look with it, like, blinding myself. The beam cannon on the mouth of the Raider only really ever was able to hit mooks. The second he tried to use it against anything that wasn't a mook, it just whiffed. So I find it just kind of funny that it has D-Power. You try to use it on an ace suit, you know, one of the ones that we're fielding, and it's going to do nothing. Just find it entertaining. Anyways, D-Power makes it effectively worthless. Stat-wise, Okay. So we're looking at about 27-ish, 2800 shot attack or so. Looking at about 1000, 1100 melee attack. For melee, that's not bad for a welfare whatsoever, breaking 1k. For shot attack, though, that falls kind of into the medium sphere for kind of what we'd expect to see from post power creep welfare parts. It doesn't break 3k. Which is what we've seen on the much higher end. This is more kind of like the Cubely, I guess. And that was like, everyone was super hyped about the Cubely, and then that got the shit power crept out of it in like no time. So anyways, watching this at 9:10 in Nebraska. Man, are you talking 9 in the morning or 9 at night? Nebraska. My American geography is terrible, so I'm going to assume it is 9 at night, because I don't think there is actually 9 in the morning anywhere in America right now. No, that's far side of the ocean, so it's 9 p.m. Yeah. I don't like daylight savings time from one North American to another. It can die in a fire. Throws everything off, man. I hate DST so much. I get why it's there. It's just, God, I hate it. Anyways, back to what we were doing. Transformer and 4 urban area word tags. So the 4 urban area is actually really interesting. I don't like the 4 line of tags. I've talked about this multiple times. But I find it really interesting that that's what they decided to go with for the Raider and not high mobility. In almost every single fight the Raider participates in, there's only one where it's really in an urban area, and that's above orb. Almost, I don't actually recall a fight where the Raider was taken city side. It was always out on open ocean. It was out on like forest. For herb, that's so weird, and its concept as a like a support craft for the Calamity. That's like a double question mark kind of moment. Like its entire purpose, you see how it has the mobile armor thing going on the backpack there. It was supposed to be a mobile platform for the Calamity to fly around on and do its due. For urban area. That is so weird. So weird. Yeah, it's really like, it looks like they're just rolling a dice and just picking one random. It's so weird. Anyways, so statistically, the suit sits kind of in the realm of mediocrity, honestly. It's nothing terribly amazing. It's not bad. It sits in that healthy middle area. Pretty much like its pilot, frankly. Although was okay for a druggie. But then I guess they were like first draft druggies, so they weren't really like any... Although Shawnee was pretty good. He was pretty good. Anyways, stat-wise, nothing terribly amazing, mediocre. EX skills effectively a wash with deep power. The word tags, Transformer, nice. Lots of usability there. Amazing tertiary pick for urban area. Not only is it thematically what the fuck, I just don't like the 4 line of tags. So, anyways, move on to the torso. Alt Ale with 4 desert. Well, there was that entire like 6 episode arc in the desert where the Ale Strike did Ale Strike things, you know, if you remember that part of Gundam Seed. So that kind of makes some sense to a degree. It actually did really, really well in the desert, all things considered. Really well. Although, I guess the backpack was definitely more for atmospheric flight than it was for space, honestly. If you look at that Ale backpack, that is not space friendly. So when they used launch, their first major engagement, they had the Ale, and then they switched to the launcher because it wasn't a great matchup. But later on, they did use the Ale for out and about, but they used the launcher whenever they had the strike defending because you could sit on the Archangel with the direct line to the power generator and just fire off massive cannon shots. I think it was, if I remember correctly, only the first fight in the desert during the nighttime was when they hot swapped from Ale to launcher to use that against anything. But Baku's, man. But in his final fight against Andrew in his Legao, he definitely did use the Ale on that one. That was a good fight. A little forced, but good fight. Yeah, the instant conversion of the OS. Oh, we're optimized for space combat? Give me a hot minute. I'm going to rewrite this entire OS. It's like, okay, hold on now, buddy. How omnipotent are we making you here? All right, anyways, focus. Focus. Raider. Torso. Oh, okay. So we're looking at about 1100 melee, 1100 shot, around there. Maybe even 1200. For welfare, that's pretty good offensively, especially considering it's a large part defensive stats that are being carried over. So that'll scale really well as it gets up to much higher levels and you use marks on it and everything. That's okay. For welfare, that's yeah, good shit. Stat-wise, good torso. Part trait, when armor is 60% or more, good. EX skill cooldown reduced by 15%. We got a winner here. This is a good part. I like this one. It does kind of check all the boxes there. We got great stats for a welfare. The part trait gives us that EX skill cooldown reduction, amazing, and the activation trigger, super easy, 60% or more health. Good stuff. Tags, Transformer for Urban Area. I've already talked about those, so I'll just roll right along. And actually, I'm going to pour a drink. I'm already thirsty. I don't know why these last few days I've been really just like parched. I think it's because just Christmas season or something. Oh, good, it didn't spill everywhere. I was really concerned that was going to just explode all over my desk. Oh, boy. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Cheers. Good stuff. Okay. So, arms. What are we working with here? Dual 52mm hypervelocity shield cannon. Okay. So, this looks really nice. It's a magazine. It's got A Pierce. And then, it has D power. It's completely fucking worthless. Moving along. Transformer for Urban Area tags again. I'm not going to go over it again. Stat-wise. Okay. I haven't said this in a hot minute. It's a part. Even for a welfare, it's just... Yikes. It's pretty much all it boils down to, really. Oh, I didn't realize my Elgato sound preferences carried over from Luminaria. Anyways, that's that. Cool. Legs. What are we looking at here? Outfighter Job. EX skill piercing boosted 22%. Okay. So, Outfighter Job. Very easy to do. We have a slew of Outfighters available. EX skill piercing boosted by 22%. That means your EX skill will add 22% more to its ability to ignore the enemy's defenses and resistances, as we still don't have a proper damage formula. I'm not 100% sure exactly how well this scales. I'm not sure how well this works with the Pierce ability on EX skills, the A, B, C, D rating. All I know is it just means you ignore more resistances. So if you're fighting something that is big, strong, and you do big zeros, this might help. Now, statistically, do you remember legs and backpack tend to be the lowest defensively statted parts of a suit? It's just the way it works. So we're expecting probably around just over 1k as it's a welfare. Okay. Oh, hey, we got rid of the 4 urban area tag and we actually swapped out with Gundam type. Now this is actually rocking 2 very powerful tertiary tags. So that's aces. Cool stuff. Okay. So statistically, we're looking at about just over 1,000. This kind of mirrors the torso, actually, in terms of stats. It looks extremely similar to it. We are seeing a very healthy balance of melee and shot on the suit, ranging across the board. However, it's not really in a good way. So the head had very muted shot attack stats, like very muted, in comparison to its contemporaries that are breaking 3K nowadays. And it sits on the higher end of the 2000s, 2006, 2007, around there, or 2600, 2700, kind of around there. Beef being, with that in mind, the arms are also much lower as well. Again, we're used to welfare arms breaking 3,000. These arms were more like 26, 2,700, not really that great in terms of, the best welfares we've seen stat-wise. So it is playing a very balanced role of, both melee and shot attack, but because it's kind of spreading out the numbers and like nerfing them on the core parts, it kind of gives an overall muted effect, really. Anyways, offensively, the legs aren't bad. Breaks 1,000 on both of them, breaks 1,100 on both of them, actually. And much like I said for the torso, because most of these numbers are based in the defensive category, this will scale really well as you bring it up, because you add marks to it. Those defensive numbers are going to pump up. It's going to carry over really well to your offensive numbers. It'll just make your suit really beefy. For a welfare, decent. The trait is okay. It's not really my cup of tea. It's there. It does what it's supposed to do. I just think there's better. And tags, both of them very powerful tertiaries. So there's that. The legs aren't bad. They're not great. They're not bad. All right, and the backpack with power attribute, melee damage output boosted by a flat number. Wow, it's garbage. All right, Transformer Gundam type word tags. Sure, we've already talked about that. Moving along to our stats. Offensively, it's pretty much the same as the legs. Cool beans. Okay. Weird. I was really expecting some kind of like transforming cutscene X on this. I'm not sure why. Okay. And it's Flail. Mjolnir. That's one heck of a name for a suit that's not real. Anyways. So we have B Power D Pierce. Low cooldown. However, as much as on paper this looks really good, it purely boils down to the actual animation involved in this. If the animation is quick, the animation is to the point, it doesn't have a huge chance of whiffing, good. However, I assume that this is going to be a general melee combo, much like we've seen dime a dozen these last few weeks, in which case it's going to have a lot of weaknesses, lots of downtime, and frankly, it's just not... Anyways, I can't really pass judgment on this effectively until I see its animation in action. Until then, it looks good on paper with B power, low cooldown. That's pretty much it. Transformer Gundam type tags, already talked about that. Offensively, all right, we're kind of hitting that higher bracket, breaking 3,000. However, for welfare parts as it is, this is slightly on the lower end of the high scale. We've seen parts go well above this, 3,400, 3,700. But in terms of pre-power creep parts that we're sitting at 27, 2,800, it's pretty okay. Yeah, it's mediocre, much like the rest of it offensively. It doesn't break any records, but it does do a very good job of bringing a balanced number sheet to the board effectively. That's it. Kind of interesting, honestly, for the first big druggy suit. What's in the event shop anyways? Let's take a quick peek-see. Awakening, Pro Tag, Xeon, Mid-Range, 4 Space, and 4 Computers. Okay, cool. All right. And I also want to take a look at the pilot here. Yeah, and in case you guys didn't notice, they did bring back all of the battle log welfares. So if you did miss any of them leading up until this point, you are going to want to farm them up. With that in mind, it's highly recommended to do this and then alternate the parts that have the changing cutscene X skills, as those are kind of the iconic skills, and who knows when we're going to get a rerun of any of these again. 100% worth picking them up. They are pretty cool stuffs. Now, Clotho. Let's take a look at you, old druggy boy. Oh, hey, nice. They're using the fancy suit version. Is Boosted Man a pun for the druggy pilot? Yeah, yeah, it is. I can't remember the exact name of the program the original druggy trio were. I think they were just extendeds. I think that's what they were called in lore by Blue Cosmos. And then Stella, Sting, and Owl they were also extendeds. I can't remember if the program name changed or not for Destiny. It's barely brought up at all in the anime. It's like offhand mentioned a couple of times, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, a boosted man. They are heavily drugged and modified. They are definitely boosted in that way. Okay, so let's take a look at your stats, Clotho. You are an Outfighter. It makes sense considering your suit prerequisite for Outfighter. Statistically, you're balanced 1K across the board. All right. For a free welfare pilot, that's actually not that bad. Having access to a quick 1,000 in all stats as well as carryover, so you're sitting at like 1,400 on your offensive skills with a good carryover gear, as well as outfighter. You're sitting on a really good balanced pilot for kind of like baby's first toy here, you know? Part trait, while transformer, enemy shooting power reduced by 25%. Yeah, the trait's not that great. This only works on the suit that this is equipped onto. So if you put Clotho onto your primary suit and then you have any allied suits, they're not going to benefit from that damage reduction. Transformer and Gundam type tags. At least he has really powerful tertiaries on him. Honestly, I would say for a welfare pilot, he's pretty good. He brings really good numbers to the table. He gives a very healthy set of tags. Trait leaves a little to be desired, but, you know, welfare is what it is. Pretty okay overall. Okay. And I don't think I have to go over the other welfares again. Now, the quick check here. I just want to see what we got for fragments. We have the Gemini01, cool. The TR6 and the Sheridan. Now, I will say aesthetically, the TR6 was pretty cool, Wound Wart. Geminis and Sheridan, I don't think there were actually any really good parts between the three of these. Nothing that's really, like, recommendable. So I think this is really a go with your aesthetic choice kind of thing. Now, Akatsuki, we got the Fun Psyche. We're going to take a look at you, and then we're going to take a look at... Now, actually, did the Akatsuki get an alteration, the new one? I'm pretty sure the old one got one. I'm not sure if the new one did. Now, while I'm waiting for an answer, let's take a look at Fun Psyche. Horsey head. 21% chance of attacks penetrating super armor. So when you hit an enemy and they don't stagger, that is super armor. This part trait gives you a 1 in 5 chance effectively of your hit staggering them. Is this good? It really depends on your build. I don't think so personally. I would get this just for the aesthetic of haha horsey head. But you do you. Statistically, we're looking at, okay, about 1,000 change melee attack, 2,500 shot. Again, this is pretty much welfare tier in terms of stats, which makes sense considering where it is and you're trading coins for it. Statistically, nothing terribly amazing. It's not bad, but not really amazing in the scope of what it's being compared to, which is welfares. Mobile fighter, close combat. Now, those word tags are actually very interesting. Mobile fighter is one of the harder tags to get your hands on, as it is more or less exclusively behind G Gundam stuff. So any extra source of mobile fighter is always appreciated. And it is one of the premier, core word tags for melee suits, as it gives a 10% melee attack boost. Close combat is a very powerful tertiary tag for melee as well, granting it 5% melee attack boost. Overall, Fun Psyche head, you got some really nice tags. You have a okay trait, workable depending on your build, and your stats are okay for a welfare. Nice. And the legs. Let's take a look at all your mighty legs. When buffed, reduce cooldown by 40% once. So the way I'm reading this is as soon as you receive a buff, all of your skills get a 40% cooldown, just taken away right then and there. That's what I'm reading. Honestly, this has a very viable use case. As there are EX skills we have access to that are good, that don't buff you. However, flip side of that, as much as we have them, they are not the most common on higher end parts. You'll typically get even a token, like 19% boost or something with most modern EX skills. However, if you are able to set up something so that you don't receive buffs until you've burned your third EX skill, this could be very, very useful for a very specific niche setup. Would I recommend this over a 100% cooldown reduction? No. No. Is it cool and have a use? Yeah. You just gotta figure it out, pretty much. It's okay. Mobile fighter, close combat tags, yet again. And statistically, we're looking at about 1700 melee attack and about 600, 700 shot. I find it very interesting that the legs have such high melee attack for a base 3-star part, but you know, is what it is. Very interesting. Almost, yeah, it's like it's almost pushing like 1800 on legs. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, so quick recap. Legs, melee attack, top notch for a 3-star. Borderline like some newer 4 stars in limiteds. It's really good. Trait hasn't really changed my opinion on that. Tags still very useful. Okay. No ult for the Shiranui, eh? Well, that's big sad. Okay, so with that in mind then, let's go take a look at that new Akatsuki then. And then we'll look at the normal gacha stuff. They really got to optimize this. Thinking about optimization, sort of related, sort of not. For anyone that's interested, on New Year's Eve JST, so that means if you are in North America, you'll know the time zone. If not, you'll have to do some conversion. At 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on December the 31st, which is about 10 p.m. JST on the 31st, just before New Year's Eve, or just before New Year's, I should specifically say, I'm going to be turning on a stream because Fate Grand Order is doing their big bad New Year's stream at about that time and starting. I am very into watching this stream, and I am more than happy to stream and watch all along with you guys. However, for it actually turning to New Year's in my local time zone, I will be away, so I will not be able to stream to you guys on New Year's. I will do a post on my Discord. It's just the way stuff kind of worked out. But yeah, just giving a heads up. I will schedule the stream probably right after this is finished. I'll create the thumbnail, generate that stream, and post it onto my Discord. But I do suggest, if you have any interest in Fate Grand Order or just want to hang out and shoot the shit for a little bit, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, I will have a stream going up on the 31st, and I will just be streaming that entire deal. Most likely followed by rolling for the New Year's Servant right after. So, there's at least that. All right. Terrible segue, done. Let's go back to what we were doing here. All right. So, Akatsuki. Now, people are saying there's another suit snuck in here. So, we have the Akatsuki. There's no other suit snuck in here, you little liars. We have the Shiranui and the Owashi. I can't believe it. My chat has lied to my face. I don't think you can restream it, can you? So here's the interesting thing. There is such thing as a creative... Well, I'm not quite sure the exact wording, but it's very similar to effectively a Creative Commons license. As long as it is transformative in nature, they can't in good faith copyright strike it. Now, if you remember the way that I did my Gundam restream, where I had the stream going up and then I had the camera in the corner and the chat going on as well, that falls more than healthily under transformative. However, I will also not be archiving the stream. I typically archive all of my streams. This one I will not be doing, primarily due to the reason I really don't want to ruffle any feathers that I shouldn't. So it will be one of those, if you miss the stream, you miss the stream, and that's pretty much it, unfortunately. And that is purely out of self-preservation on that front. But worst case, they do reach out and say, hey, we're killing your stream on you, in which case, I'll just start a normal stream, won't have the stream going in the background, but I'll still be watching it. You guys just have to stream it yourself. We make it work. That's pretty much how it goes. Now, as I was doing here, and just to confirm, it was the Owashi they added, right? We had the Shiranui before. Did we? No, we had this one before, right. It's the Shiranui is the new one. We had the Owashi before, because I remember the backpack. All right, don't care about that. Let's move on to the Shiranui. We want that button. Yeah. Nah, you die. I already know. Who do you think wrote Fiora? I know where this data scrapes from, although I don't think she scraped the most. Did she scrape the most recent one? I wasn't even paying attention because I was out with family during the data dump. Let's see here. Game news. Yeah. Fiora scrape. Yeah, of course I know Lacus is in the pilot thing. You know, even if Fiora didn't scrape it, I would still know because I got a lot of pings about it. Because people seem to think I'm blind. I don't know where this like, okay, granted, technically, legally, I can't drive without glasses on, but it doesn't mean I'm fucking blind, guys. I should probably compare the stats. You know, I would love to be able to quickly compare the Akatsuki Shiranui with the Owashi. Quite unfortunately, though, there is no easy way to do this in game, and I really don't feel like spending 25 minutes switching back and forth between each individual part. So I am going to hard pass on that one. Instead, I'm going to look at this part based on its stats compared to what we currently have available in the 4-star pool, and I guess limited pools, as I do for most parts. So, contextually, this is a pseudo-limited suit in which you can only get it during a very specific banner, limited. But the event that it's a part of, the Akatsuki coin banner, comes back relatively often. Relatively. So it's a pseudo-limited in that sense. The only way to get it is through this ticket system. So, c'est la vie. I say you should review more Mark stats. Eason, the problem is, so I explained this when I was talking about why I wouldn't look at 7-star stats, is I don't have a good enough baseline. I'm used to looking at parts when they have pre-marked stats, 6-star pre-mark. You could always make the argument, well, why don't you just get used to the marks? Thing is, marks are a percentile boost. What that boils down to is, as long as you look at a part, you know, for example, I have a 4-star part and a 4-star part, right? I look at them, they're going to have the exact same amount of marks when they're fully maxed out. Meaning, it doesn't matter at what point I look at their stats. I should look at their level 99 stats because that's kind of the end of their growth curve. But at the end of the day, I know that if I put a mark on both of these suits, it's going to be the same amount of gain to both of them, whatever amount of percent. If it was a flat gain, it'd be a little different because we'd see a lot more balance coming up from the lower starred parts. But as marks are a percentile-based increase, it actually doesn't really matter if I look at them pre or post marked, because at the end of the day, it scales. 7-star is very weird in that aspect, where it almost seems to be arbitrary scaling. And that's kind of my biggest issue with looking at 7-star suits right now, is it's arbitrary, to my understanding, where it's just jumps up at really weird values. But that's why I don't really see much of a difference between looking at these suits pre-mark and post-mark. It's just the way it is. Now, what I find doubly interesting here is that the Shiranui pack only allows 2 marks. I thought this would have had the 3 marks on it after getting a 6-star. But I guess it is considered a base 5-star then. Weird. Anyhow, let's take a look here. Close-in weapon system, also known as the CIWS. D-D. Yeah, it's a Vulcan head. It's garbage. Statistically, okay. Now, this is an interesting suit. The Akatsuki is kind of meant as a hybrid type, where it is kitted out for both close range and melee encounters. Its coding makes it really excel in ranged encounters, as it has a passive ability to reflect beams fired at it as long as it doesn't hit the ligaments, or joints specifically. It has to hit the armor. I find the stats kind of interesting, as it does have a significant amount of melee for what it is. We're looking at about 1400, 1450 melee attack or so on the head. For a shot head, that's actually pretty good. Now, as for shot attack, we're looking at over 5k before we put any marks on at all. That's good. That's real good. Post that, yeah, we're pushing up like 51, 5200 shot attack or so. Honestly, some good numbers. Commander mid-range word tags. Nice. Remember, Commander is the new second, or one of the two best shot tags, giving 10% of the primary stat boost. Dope. We have mid-range, giving a little extra with, 5% shot attack, so that's cool stuff. Honestly, it's a pretty nice head. So it's pretty nice. It doesn't go quite up to what we'd see from, the Super Sokai or anything like that, but it's good. It's good stuff. All right. Torso. Looks like this is just core frame parts too, which is nice for me. Yata no Kagami. Well, that sounds pretty much like what the other torso has as well. So it's an awakening. Yeah, it works pretty much like the other one. A humongous amount of beam resistance, resist flinching. Yeah. This is a very defensive buff. Personally, not really my thing. The effect looks okay. It's a big gold aura. But aesthetically, I think the part looks okay. I like the color palette, though. That color palette's really nice to slap on stuff, that reflective gold. It has the weapons and shields. The feature slideshow doesn't include it. Oh, so it does have its own custom weapons, too? Cool beans. Thanks for letting me know. I'll take a look at that. So, offensively. Ooh. Oh, I like these numbers. So we're looking at about 1800 melee attack on this, which is good. And then for shot attack, we're actually looking at about 2150. So, this doesn't quite hit the numbers of a specialized part where we'd see 22, 23, 2500 on its primary, offensive stat, melee or shot. But we're seeing it break 2k almost in both stats. One of them for sure, one of them almost there. That's good. We have a lot of beam resist across this suit if you haven't been paying attention. The head alone had 1,000. This is sitting at, 22 to almost 2,300. Yeah. So statistically, that's a pretty fucking solid torso, especially considering you can just use some coins and get it. Commander, mid-range, really nice word tag selection there again. The EX skill, though, I'm really on the fence about. If you're making like a turtle suit, ooh, you're probably going to want it. Outside of that, use case kind of deal. All right, arms. Revive with 30% armor one time. So the one saving grace here is that this is a guaranteed, not a you have a % chance to revive with X amount of HP. This is guaranteed revival. However, you shouldn't be dying in the first place. You should probably be getting a part that gives more traits that you do not die. Whether that involves you killing the other guy faster or having resistances. You shouldn't be dying. But in the scenario, you are someone that dies a lot, this may actually be very good for you. Statistically, what are we looking at here? Ooh, spicy. Okay, so we're looking at about, 4,900 or so? Yeah, about 4,900 melee attack. That's cool beans. And we're also looking at about, 2,200, 2,300 shot? That is a lot of shot attack on these arms. For melee, it's nothing really to write home about. It definitely hits in the higher sphere of what we'd expect to see from a 4-star. Absolutely, no questions there. Doesn't match up to Sokai's or anything, but it is good. However, the shot attack breaking 2k is what I think is the real takeaway here. That's something we typically do not see on things that are not Sokai. So this is pretty good. We still have the Commander mid-range tags. Honestly, my only real complaint about this part is the trait. But someone in chat did point out it does not have an activation condition. It just does. So, that's that. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right. The Akatsuki legs. Experimental twin beam saber. We've seen this EX skill dime a dozen. It's not a great cutscene. The numbers on it aren't bad. B plus power, low cooldown. But overall, it's just not a cool animation. It's a risky bisky. Commander, force-based tags. Nice that we have the Commander again. I'm not really on board with them dumping the force-based tag. Ugh. he needed to find a level. Anyways, back to this. So as I was saying, word tags, I'm not that happy they tossed away mid-range and took 4 space, but is what it is. EX skill, the numbers are good, but unfortunately the animation's not really that great. Statistically though, we're looking at some pretty interesting numbers here. Again, backpack and legs are typically the lowest defensively statted of the suit. So seeing this, it's actually really amazing. We're pushing about 17, 18, 1850 melee attack or so, which is really, really good for a pair of legs. And then we're also pushing about 2k on shot. For a set of legs, this is pretty good. Good stuff. Okay. I wish the EX skill was better though. And the backpack. A guided mobile beam turret. Ugh. Okay. A plus Pierce, D power. This thing is a it's a funnel. I really don't feel like having the funnel talk today. So to summarize it, beam funnel's bad unless many turrets. Physical funnel's good. Period. Unfortunately, this only has 7 turrets. The numbers really aren't going to make it worthwhile unless you spec out very specifically to boost it. Do keep in mind it does have D power, so yeah. All right. Statistically, we're looking at about 1800, 1850 melee attack. We're looking at about more or less the same on the shot attack column. Commander for space. Honestly, if the funnel was good, this would be an amazing backpack. Unfortunately, with it lacking a definitive EX skill on it, you're looking at a stat stick with Commander. So, not terrible, but not great. Is Moon Gundam the only good funnel back? Maybe. I'd have to have a list of them in front. I think there's one other one that's really good. All right. Oh, hey, look, the experimental twin saber is on here. So we'll take a quick peeky at this, and then we'll look at the list, because apparently there's other weapons that aren't shown on here. Experimental twin beam saber. Debuff EX skill effect up 15%. So, much like how buff skill effect up just does a flat addition, this also does a flat addition. So if your debuff reduces the enemy's defense by 69%, this will pump it up by 15 just flat. 69 plus 15. So that's good numbers. Good fat debuffs. Offensively, we're actually looking at really big numbers. These are like pre-alteration Sokai levels. That's a good beam saber, that is, offensively. And then word tags, Commander for space. A very interesting combination. We have a melee offense that matches what we would see from pre-alteration melee-oriented suits. Then we have word tags that go, I am a shot machine. And then we have traits that go, I am a debuffer utility. I don't know what to make of this sword. It's a little bit of everything. It's interesting, that's for sure. All right. And I heard mumblings of a new... Yep, there's a new gun. Now, am I able to bring up the statistics here? Yes, I am. Fantastic. All right. The Shiranui Hyakurai. All power boosted by 25%. No conditional trigger. As long as you have this beam rifle equipped, you just get a 25% all power boost. Holy shit, Willikers. That trait alone makes it absolutely fucking amazing. Keep in mind, for shot machines, you can subslot this for the trait. For melee suits, you're probably having an issue going, what gun do I put into my suit? I don't know. Very few of these will actually give me any melee attack, and not very many of them have good tags or traits. Guess what, motherfucker? Ding dong, here's your ticket. Alright, sure. I left the game for months because it's so boring. Good recommendation to restart. There's really no best time to restart this game. The developers are always really generous, so you can kind of just come back whenever, jump in, and you'll do fine. It plays a lot more like a collector game than anything these days. The events are very, very similar. We're getting new story content every now and again, nothing terribly common, so you're probably a few chapters shy, lots of haro chips there. But at the end of the day, it's not really a game where you're going to be time gated or really far behind because you missed a few weeks or anything. We only just got 7-star unveiled. So, much like when we got the 6 stars first announced, it was a big rat race to the top. But back then we needed the numbers. Now it's completely unnecessary. And as long as you're patient, you can wait like 3-4 months. We'll be getting the items to upgrade stuff to 7-star like candy. But that's even if the suits you have can be upgraded to 7-star, because it's currently very selective and only specific suits can even do it in the first place. So to quickly answer your questions whether or not a good time to come back, sure, tomorrow's also a good day. Yesterday was also a good day. It doesn't really matter. Come back whenever it makes you happy. All right. Offensively, yeah, we have really good shot attack on this. Mid-range commander tags. I would say, out of all the parts of the Akatsuki, both versions, this gun takes the cake. That's pretty much it. And the shield, the Type 71 Experimental Defensive Shield Shiranui Edition. For 20 seconds after attack with EX skill, enemy EX skill power reduced by 35%. Now, this is one of those moments where this should be a pre-activation trigger. When enemy activates EX skill, enemy EX skill power reduced by 35% for 10 seconds. I think that would not only be absolutely friggin' hilarious, but lead to a lot of big meme builds. This is very reactive and not really that great. The numbers are big, but you're hit, you're dead. So at least that's the current meta. Stat-wise, we're looking at about 1,400 melee attack. We're looking at about, 1,800 shot or so. So offensively, the shield packs some good numbers. Not the best we've seen, but considering its availability, not bad. Trait, not really amazing. Tags, commander's dope. Mid-range, workable tertiary. All right. Cool beans, Akatsuki. Cool beans. Now then, the suits. Now, we still don't have enough data about 7-star because it's still excessively limited to only a few suits. With that in mind, once we get older suits that have the 7-star upgrade, it'll be a lot easier for me to start talking about the stats on them. Unfortunately, until then, I just don't feel comfortable really talking about the stats 7 stars. Because as I said, it seems very arbitrary the way the numbers increase. What I mean by that is when we had the 5-star to 6-star boost, we saw more or less a very consistent upgrade in the stats percentage-wise. However, from 6-star to 7-star, we're seeing a much more skewed percentage increase. And that's kind of the issue here, is there's not enough data yet to see exactly how a suit's... So, I know this information, for example, is published for Fate Grand Order. I haven't seen it published for this game yet. There's growth curves on things, where a unit will have effectively a graph where, level 0 to max level, it's stat curve effectively. A lot of RPGs have this as well, where you'll have a character that excels in the early game, stagnates in the middle, and then kind of balances back out, in the end game. And that's kind of one of those, curves, right? These suits seem to be kind of the same deal, where they have kind of these growth curves going, and it was very easy to understand. But then the 7-star completely ignores this growth curve, and that's kind of what's throwing all this off. 6-star kept to this curve, the 7-star seems to just completely throw it out the window. And that's kind of the issue that I'm having with really nailing down the numbers on it. I just need a bigger sample size, and as much as it's nice that they keep adding new suits that have 7-star, we really need the older suits to get 7-star so that we have a good reference point. And hopefully we see some kind of pattern. Because I think right now with these suits, we're sitting at, I think, 8 or 9 suits that have 7-star on it. So, anyways, we're going to open with the Raphael. We're going to look at the new Code Sora. And then we're going to take a look at the pilots, Twitter, alterations, and then sweet, sweet suffering in Gacha. Okay. Raphael, come home. Wow, hey, look, 1 out of 6. Let's be quick. All right. So, as I said, I will not be looking at the stats. I'm going to be actually, with that in mind, since I'm not looking at the stats, I may as well just pop right over to the alteration for those suits. Primarily being in that if I'm not looking at the stats, then I only care about the EX skill and the word tags, which can be accomplished looking at the alteration. So I'll pass on those until we get to the alteration phase of the game. I will look at the pilots for now, and then we'll pop on over to alterations, look at those 2 new suits, look at the pilots, and then we'll do Gacha. Look at that. We're streamlining, gang. All right. We'll start with our 3-star pilot, Brigitte Pirot? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name. Hey, don't change on me like that. There we go. All right, so we have a defender with technique attribute, 28% chance to not recoil. Well, as he is a technique pilot, that makes your life a little bit easier. 28% chance to not recoil is effectively a almost 1 in 3 chance of having super armor. Okay, not the best thing I've ever seen, not the worst. Yeah. It's an okay trait. It's not really amazing. Statistically, he reminds me a lot of Clotho, 1,000 across the board. Difference being he doesn't have an offensive-oriented job license to really bring one of those stats up to fruition. He has a much more mild job license in that regard. You know. Federation, mass production, word tags, not the most uncommon anymore, but still nice to have another extra of. Would I roll for him? God, no. Am I probably going to get a lot of him rolling for Lacus? Yeah. Am I going to like it? Not at all. And Lacus, long shooter. Okay. With speed, attribute, buff EX skill time up 22%. As I've said multiple times, buff EX skill time really shouldn't even be a thing you consider, as buffs already last an excessive amount of time. If you need to extend the duration at all, it means you are very slow at killing things. Early on, this is acceptable. You don't really have the numbers to back up your damage, and fights can last for a hot minute. However, once you kind of break above, 30, 40k of your primary offensive stat, you should not be running out of buff timers. That's effectively all it comes down to. Long range support type tags. Long range is a very nice tertiary tag. It does have a few traits that it does activate for, so it's a trigger for, so that's good stuff. Support type, complete waste of a slot, in my opinion, especially considering it's not a support job license. Offensively, okay. So, melee is purely token. We're looking at about 800, 820 or so melee attack on Lack. It's not surprising, long shooter. Shot-wise, the numbers play a little better here. We're looking at about 3,100, 3,200 shot attack out of the gate pre-mark. That's not the best we've seen on a pilot, but it is really, really up there. Post power creep, she is extremely good. Outside of build project pilots, I would say probably top 3 in the shot department. Yeah. That's pretty much all it boils down to. I'm happy that they finally gave Lacus a competent variant with good art. It's a good mix. Somehow managed to get almost like the perfect blend. All right. Now, I'm gonna pop over on pop on over to. Wait a second. I remember one more sucker slipped in. Where are you at? Where are you at? That ain't Falco. All right, so we're gonna look at the circus variant of Troa Barton. And then we'll go look at alterations. Look at me, I'm remembering. It's kind of hard to not remember. He's a clown. He's the whole goddamn circus. So, job license. Very interesting. He has both outfighter and mid shooter, so he is very competent in a multitude of roles. What a circus. Statistically, we're looking at just under 3k melee attack, and we're also looking at about 3,300 shot attack after carryovers. Not bad. Not bad at all in the shot department. Melee wise, not bad either. However, this is a build project pilot, meaning the bar is much higher for him to be considered good, as the amount of investment that you need to actually build this pilot means that he needs to be heads and shoulders above what's available in the gacha. Quite unfortunately, we literally just looked at a pilot available in the gacha that has better shot attack than this man. Hopefully, his word tags and EX skill / trait can salvage this situation. Trait: before 60 seconds pass, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. That's not too bad, actually. For the first minute, you have a free cooldown reduction trait. Cool beans. Flexible. High firepower and heavy armor. What the fuck? Now, of course, he does pilot the heavy arms, which does come with Gacha and, well, armor. So, honestly, it's thematically on point. Interesting is how I'd put him. So, statistically, for a build project pilot, pre-alteration, he sits pretty healthily. He has good melee, good shot, he has a very healthy trait, and he has workable tertiary tags. Not bad. Not jaw-droppingly amazing, not bad. Okay. Now, before we get too deep into alterations, let's take a look at what's available on Twitter. Wait a second, what? That's actually a really cool graphic, honestly. You guys can't really see it that well on here. Let me see. Can I? Not easily. That's cool, though. I wonder. I'm not gonna be able to stream that because I'm not gonna be at home, so that's kind of final on that one. But at least you guys know there is a planned stream for the game, so check their Twitter for the deets. Now, where are the videos? Okay, so I don't want to look at you first. Actually, I wanted to look at your compatriot first. Yes, the Raphael. Now, we haven't seen any of its EX skills yet, so this is going to be all new. So it has a Trans Am, shocking hopefully nobody. And then it has... So, let's see a couple problems here. First one. So that charge beam attack, it looks cool on paper, but there's a glaring issue. Oh, does this still have... Oh, there's still a little water in there. So, when you're firing this beam, it lasts for about 3 seconds. You can't move. And as you can clearly see on here, because you get a little bit of height, it does fire the beam down, meaning there is actually a finite distance this beam is going to travel in the first place. Kind of on the fence about that one. And then it stops. Okay? And then it fires off the little pocket turrets there. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to rewind back. Now, unfortunately, you guys can't see it on here. But during this whole animation, let me just double check the clock on here. The clock is ticking away for the entirety of this thing. It takes about 4 seconds for the entire animation to play out. So, in the scenario, somehow, you miss the opening salvo beam shot, or you push the enemy out of it, you're now sitting there and just waiting to be shot. The second part of the EX skill, at least, is nice, where you do follow up with a little claw shot, but I think, honestly, for what it is, it's okay. Do you think they would dare put another EX skill cooldown on him? Maybe. We'll find out shortly. It got iframes. The claws are not split damage. It's all scaling off the shot attack. Well, that's good, at least. They didn't completely botch it. The thing is, though, I can see the letters here for its scaling. It maxes out at A- power with cutscene cooldown. However, it does give, from what I'm seeing here, a 49% shot attack boost. So, you know, there's that. But I think, honestly, the A- power with a cutscene cooldown kind of undermines that a bit. Anyways, we'll worry about that once we get to the letter scaling of it. For now, let's take a look at Code Sora. Let's full screen that sucker so you guys can bask in the glory of a suit. Alright. So, we have our first EX skill. Wow, that was a really long animation. No thanks. Okay. So from the top, first EX skill. That is a very slow, whiffable melee. No thanks. Number 2, jump and drop. Again, that looks to be a very whiffable one. No thanks. Third one, at least it's quick though. It looks okay animation-wise, but it is a full lockdown, true EX. You know, cutscene. Okay is how I'm going to put that one. None of them really scream out, you know, hey, I'm top notch, like I'm amazing. They're all okay, you know, kind of mild. I didn't like the first two very much. The first one is just rife to be missed. The second one, although it seems, because of its speed and it's just a single hit, seems to be a little more acceptable. I don't know. It just feels weird. Anyways, so let's close our Twitter video feed here. And let's start with our suits. So, as I did mention before, as I'm not looking at the stats for this, I'm just going to be looking at the EX skill or trait and the word tags. When it comes to getting a part alternated, the only things that change are the EX skill / trait, and the stats. Word tags are not changed whatsoever. With that in mind, the numbers when it comes to alteration do change. We have less than 5 examples where it changes for the worse or changes drastically, so I highly recommend that before you spend the resources to alternate a part, you make sure it is transforming stat-wise into what you want. Beyond that, it will get a either boosted EX skill or an extra trait added on, so that's the primary benefit. Do your own research before investing into any of this stuff, as it can be a pain in the ass depending on what phase of the game you're in to get more materials. Now, with the ever-changing PSA out of the way, let's hippity-hoppity right into our Trans Am. Raise your speed by 20%, raise your shot attack by 39%, raise your beam resist by 49%. Okay. A healthy 39% shot attack boost post-alteration. Do keep in mind that with the multipliers that we have available, the highest we have is 59%, then we have 54, then 49, then 39. So this sits extremely high up on the list of buffs. However, it's also not the top rung available. The beam resist, you know, is what it is. Speed boost, none of it's really my cup of tea, honestly. Shot attack is nice, but I wish it would be higher for something that I'm investing one of my 3 skill slots for, you know? Raphael Torso. Middle shooter job. Oh, wait, I actually forgot to check the tags really quick on the head, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same as that one. High firepower. Oh, ace exclusive. Well, it's definitely a shot head, that's for sure. All right. Hey. Torso. Middle shooter job. Shooting power boosted by 30%. Very easy to find a middle shooter. Like, really easy to find a middle shooter. And you get a shooting power boost. Cool. With Power Attribute, buff EX skill effect up 30%. Now do keep in mind, like I said, when it comes to buffs, it is flat addition, meaning it'll be, for example, the 39% we saw before would jump up to 69%. Lots of 69s by sheer accident today, is what it is. Anyhow, so we'll get the 30% buff up for power. Very easy to get power, no problems there. Both of these are pretty powerful. The first trait, solid stuff. Second trait, it's okay, you know, honestly. Could be a lot worse, could be better, but all right, just got a high multiplier at least. High firepower, heavy armor, both very workable tertiaries. Arms. When attacking with beam, EX skill power boost by 40%. Now this is not saying beam as in ranged or melee. This is talking about, because remember, every EX skill is classified into beam or physical. With that in mind, there are amazing physical and amazing shot beam EX skills, so this will actually go for both. It having a 40% EX skill multiplier on that, that's really good, works on any type of suit. Second trait, when melee attack is over 10,000, shooting power boost by 40%. For higher end suits, this is an accidental rounding error to get over 10,000 attack, melee, even if you're building a pure shot machine. So that second trait, super easy to hit once you get higher up. Awesome. The primary trait works for anything. Honestly, I'd say these arms, trait-wise, really, really good stuff. High firepower, ace exclusive, very powerful tags for a shot machine, good stuff. Legs. Melee attack down 20%, EX skill cooldown reduced by 23%. So what this means is you are going to be doing 20% less melee damage, but you are also going to have a 23% EX skill cooldown reduction. The reason that extra 3% is such a big deal is with the recent addition of cooldown reduction increasers from the enemy side, your 100% build may need a little bit of polish, get that extra, 15, 20 odd percent in there through these little 3% boosts. It's a worth it trade-off if you're running a shot machine, as you don't give a flying damn about melee attack. For melee pilots and suits, though, this is going to be a little bit more of a thinker for you. Is it worth taking 20% reduction for the benefits? When armor is 60% or more, shooting power boosts by 40%. Very easy to get over 60% armor, just spawn and don't get hit. And you get a fat 40% shooting power boost. This would be really good on a shot machine for the obvious reasons of you don't care about melee attack and you're going to spawn with your whole armor pool. So you'll get the EX skill cooldown reduction and the shooting power boost. A solid pair of legs. High firepower, ace exclusive yet again. All right, backpack. GN Big Cannon. Nope, this is actually even worse than I thought. So D Pierce, A- power, cutscene cooldown. However, you only get a 24% shot attack raise with a 49% beam resist boost. Honestly, as iconic as the EX skill may be, it's just... No. It's pretty much all it boils down to. You're taking an A- power cutscene EX for your backpack, your major hitter. You're only getting a 24% shot attack boost out of it. Meta-wise, not a great pick. General care about doing big damage, not a great pick. But if you like the Raphael Gundam a lot, it'll work. All right. High firepower, heavy armor again. And the GN Beam Rifle. Back parts EX skill power boost by 30%. We have a lot of back parts available for melee and shot that have really good EX skills. So that'll work for both. I don't obviously like the limitation that's only for back part, but okay. After 30 seconds pass, boost job gauge by 50% once. I still don't think the job gauge is very good. I still don't really like what it brings to the table. However, I know some people do, and power to you. However, the 30 seconds pass as a prerequisite heavily nerfs the usability of this, as do keep in mind, most content will be completed within 10 seconds, if not less than 15, minus the much more difficult content or newer players. So with that 30 seconds pass is effectively worthless to begin with. The first trait's okay though. and high firepower ace exclusive tags. Okay. So the Raphael is definitely a shoot first, ask never kind of suit. Why wasn't it the America? Anyways, terrible political takes aside. It's okay. It has some very interesting traits on it. The EX skills are, well, they're there. Good takes as well. Good stats. That's an okay suit overall. All right. Now, next up is Code Sora. Now, as this is a important character suit from Battlelog, or rather GBM, I am expecting great things from you, sir. So, while high firepower, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%, while close combat melee power boosted by 35%. Okay. The initial EX skill charge obviously is not as good as general EX skill cooldown reduction, but still okay if you're in for a quick burst. Sure. Oh boy. While close combat, which is extremely easy to activate on melee shot suits alike, it's just in so many parts these days, you get a 35% melee power boost. Very good combination here. Yeah. High firepower, close combat word tags, workable tertiaries, good stuff. Torso. I said torso. With speed attribute, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. Dope. When attacking with a beam, EX skill power boost by 35%. Dope. So you have the EX skill cooldown reduction as well as the power boost. Both of these are only requiring that you use beam EX skills and your speed attributed suit. Both of these are very easy to meet the requirements for, and for both melee and shot, it is very easy to find your selection of beam EX skills, whether ranged or not, melee, physical, whatever. You have lots of options is what I'm saying here. The torso is a good pick for that alone. Good traits. High firepower, close combat tags, workable tertiaries. Okay, let's check out those arms. What are we deadlifting here, bro? With lance category equipped, enemy melee power reduced by 30%. Not my cup of tea, and like I said, it only affects the suit that this is going to be equipped onto, so there's that. And when one enemies are shot down, non-EX skill power boost by 40%, so that's all of your neutrals. Okay. I don't really like this trait combination very much. High firepower, close combat, all right. Legs. Down to Heaven. Yes, that is the, I believe that was the, oh no, this is the long cutscene that we saw, right? Okay. So double S minus power, D pierce, cutscene cooldown. Okay. It's kind of what we'd expect to see from a GBM exclusive suit. We've seen this before as well with the Super Sokai stuff. So the double S power rating, good, not new. Okay, cool stuff. I personally wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't think it was really flashy or anything, but it'll be potent. So there's that. High firepower, high mobility tags, workable. Backpack. Hyuga Rush. So that was the first cutscene, or not first cutscene, the first EX skill we saw with the beam sword combo. As I said, I don't think it's a very good one. We know Cougar Rush. The animation's not worth it, effectively. High firepower, high mobility, workable tertiaries. Lance, the Sora Lance, Sky Jumper. That's the one that I said was okay. This one where he does the quick jump and drop. You know, Sky Jumper. B plus power, A minus pierce, so the numbers will at least work out really well, and lowers the enemy's beam resist by 19%. Okay. That's all I really have to say about it. Low cooldown, decent damage. Yeah, I know, right? Like you said, they went to all this trouble to make, honestly, one of the better looking suits that I've seen. And then they're like, aight, so what are we going to make its EX skills to make it shine? Cougar Rush. It's the best EX skill, I swear, guys. Might as well just give it a beam funnel, for Christ's sakes. Okay. So the EX skill on this is okay. High firepower, high mobility, workables. Beam Saber. While close combat, melee power boosted by 40%. Super easy to do close combat, no problem there. Shot attack down 20%, melee power boosted by a further 40%. So you're going to be doing 20% less shot damage, but you do 80% more melee damage. Yeah. I'll take your entire stock. I have no complaints there. That is some solid shit. Now look at that. 16,000 melee attack maxed out at 7-star. Yeah. All right, beam rifle. While high mobility, EX skill power boosted by 30%. High mobility, very easy to get your hands on, and you get the EX skill power boost. Nice. When armor 60% or more, job gauge increase boosted by 20%. I've already talked about the job gauge, not the biggest fan of it, but you know what? At least this is more of a static, you know, you get an extra 20% gain as long as you're not getting hit. And I always say don't get hit. So if this gives you incentive to not get hit, good in my books. I don't like it though. High firepower, high mobility, workable. And lastly, for Mr. Sora, the shield. Leg parts EX skill power boosted by 40%. We have a lot of very powerful leg EX skills in this game. Bisect instantly comes to mind. While high mobility, melee power boosted by 40%. Honestly, this is really good. If you have a high mobility suit that has a leg melee EX skill, you're looking at fat boosts across the board. Good shit. High firepower, high mobility. All right, we take those. Good tertiaries. Okay. So, Raphael is okay. Nothing really amazing on it. Statistically, it's good. Word tag wise, yeah, it's good. But it does lack a lot of powerful traits, and it lacks a lot of powerful EX skills. It's there, though. Code Sora, on the other hand, has a lot of very powerful traits, like jaw-droppingly powerful trait combinations, and some nice EX skills. One of them not so great, very copy-pasta, but it is what it is. Yeah. Good stuff. Code Sora is pretty okay. So, we are over here. Now, the only thing that we have to look at in here currently is going to be the new Troa variant, which is really sad. I was hoping we would see a Lacus in here, but it is what it is. So we'll start with Mr. Troa, and then, finish with them because he's the only one in here. I'm hilarious. Troa Barton Circus version. Before 60 seconds pass, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. As I talked about on that, that's pretty solid. As long as your combat won't be taking more than a minute, good stuff. When armor is 90% or more, which is pretty easy to do, don't get hit, all power boosted by 35%. Okay. I don't really have a lot of complaints on that one. That is very straightforward, very bog standard. Don't get hit, make it last less than a minute. You're getting a fat power boost, and you're getting a nice cooldown reduction. Nice. Now, stat-wise, yeah, you definitely, post-alteration, he definitely lives up to build project, so, yeah, good job. Good job, Troa. Actually, where does stats sit exactly here? We're looking at about 3,900 shot attack and about 3,400, 3,500 melee. It's pretty good, honestly. Nothing as crazy spiked out as, Bleeding Mika, but cool stuff. Aren't Versago and GP01 new? Are they? I can't remember. Are the Versago and the GP01 new alterations, guys? Oops, I need to stop hitting the mic. Oh, they are new. Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the full burner. When it comes to alterations, I do typically only look at the EX skill or the trait because honestly, really nothing else changes with these suits, like I said. So that's all I'm going to be looking at for these. Head-mounted Vulcan. So I 360'd, walked right back out the door I came in. I already did the Funsaki dodge if you missed it. Combat stance, Gamma. Raise melee attack of your squad by 49%. That's a healthy boost, and that's definitely good for a support suit in arena. No complaints there, fat numbers. Arms. With power attribute, enemy melee power reduced by 30%. That's only going to be applied to the suit that this is equipped onto. Keep that in mind. Limits its usability. Against enemies with disadvantage, changes attribute, melee power boost by 35%. That's a very interesting one. I don't know very many people that would go, I'm going to run disadvantage on this guy and, you know, I'll get my big fat power boost. Or, you know, you could just run advantage and you'd be doing more or less the same damage anyways. Yeah, about that one, Chief. Legs. With power attribute, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. Solid. While Pro Tag, melee power boost by 35%. Now, as Pro Tag is one of the two core tags for melee, the other being Mobile Fighter, you're most likely going to have that on, meaning you're going to get 35% melee power boost. On top of that, as long as your suit is power, you're also getting a 20% EX skill cooldown reduction. The GP01 full burn does actually have or it's available in the exchange pool for 4-star pick tickets, meaning you can actually just pick it all up and you're done. Pretty good. Good traits, actually. I'm quite amazed by this one. Good legs. Backpack. Universal boost powered. 20% speed boost, 29% melee attack boost, and vernier capacity up 25%. The vernier capacity and speed boost are very symbiotic. I just don't like either of them very much. 29% melee attack boost is not too bad considering this is a 4-star pick ticket pool part. It's not limited. It's not Sokai. It's not a quasi-limited. So acceptable. Okay. And our other suit is El Versago. When armor is 40% or less, shooting crit rate boosts by 30%. It's a shame, crit sucks. Torso parts, EX skill power boost by 35%. Well, lots of good torso EX skills, good boost. Thing is, though, as I did mention, the fact that it limits it to the torso EX only does kind of, you know, give you a limited selection here. This will obviously be very good if you have something like, oh, I don't know, the crossbone chest. But I think with the first trait, I don't know if it's really worth investing into this part just to get that second trait. Torso. Thank you. Mega Sonic Cannon. A Pierce B+ power, low cooldown, 15 seconds, 60 after. So that's actually more of a standard than a low. So that's okay. B+ power, A Pierce. That's going to hit pretty hard. Pretty hard, that's for sure. All right. Arms. Strike Claw. D Pierce A power. Low cooldown. That's kind of more of like a spammy EX skill. Beam shot. All right. I'll give it a go, you know, pass on that one. It's okay. Okay being a very key term there. Twist Buster. Ooh, oh, excuse me. We've seen this EX skill before. Obviously, it's an older suit. No, it's not a good animation. Moving on. Backpack. 50% chance to prevent vernier consumption when stepping. Not really useful for me. Might be useful for someone like Sukiya. With power attribute, shooting crit rate boost by 40%. And I take that back. That is just not a good part. Sword. The Beam Saber. Middle shooter job, melee damage output boosted by a flat number. Well, that's a paradox. I'm a middle shooter. I want more melee damage, specifically the flat damage kind. Oh. With power, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. The second trait's at least okay, but I wouldn't do it. Is Twist Buster good animation? If I'm remembering Twist Buster correctly, is that not the one where you smack them up in the air and then you just like do the quick spin and knock them down with the beam saber? Or am I remembering the wrong animation here? I'm probably remembering the wrong animation. I know there's a couple of suits I've tried using that on, and it's just not fun to try to land on them. And the Strike Shooter. Middle shooter job, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. Okay, torso parts, EX skill power boost by 35%. At least this is kind of symbiotic in a way. We're getting an EX skill power boost, EX skill charge reduction, and you just need a middle shooter job and something on the torso for an EX. Not a big laundry list of stuff to check off there, so that's okay. Yeah, so my issue with the Twist Buster is although the animation is short, and if it lands, it's really quick, but that's the problem. If it lands, personally, granted, I'm not the best at melee in this game, I've had severe issues trying to get the spacing correct for the Twist Buster to actually knock enemies up. It also seems to not like working against things that have super armor, where I'll smack them and they'll just kind of laugh at me and just stay on the ground. So I feel that's kind of a mileage may vary kind of thing, but in personal anecdotal experience with the Twist Buster, I've not had a good time with it. So I guess I will change that to a mileage may vary as long as you can land the damn thing. So yeah, anyways. So I guess I wasn't wrong in saying that it was bad, but I guess I was not descriptive enough in saying it is bad if you are not used to the spacing and not used to melee EX in general. If you practice with the Twist Buster, get the spacing correct, and you know what it's going to do at all times, you know, someone that plays more active melee than anything, you shouldn't have much of a problem. But yeah, as it does knock you in, or have you up in the air and then quickly drop back down, it is very hard to capitalize on you during the animation cycle. And you may actually end up making people with EX skills or AI specifically. So that's kind of a win, I guess. Shadow drop for New Year's. I would honestly expect it. But yeah. Do keep in mind that these new banner suits don't end until after the New Year's. So if you do want to wait and see if they drop a Shadow New Year thing, you're not really missing out. So, as I said earlier, we're going to quickly enter a rolling portion of the stream here where I try to get myself some lacus in my life. As I've gone over all the new content up until this point. So, it is time. Time for the great suffer. Alright. Let's get going, gang. All right, make me suffer. What do we get? Blue. All right, so not what I want. Next one. Come on. Come on. So what I'm learning here is I have much better luck with parts than I do pilots. Yeah, if I got the past lacus, I'd be tilted. Another blue. What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, we're getting another blue. Man, this game. Come on. Okay. I'm just gonna put my phone down. Hands away. Man, you guys are just out to get me. Watch it be Mir. Hate all of you. Why waste the Haro? Why not? If you're not going to roll on stuff that you really like, even if it'll be available later, why bother? I actually fully expect to run out of Haro trying to get Lacus. What do we got? Come on. Savage. My luck with the parts is so much better than... Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is effectively what? Like my last roll then? Because the Gachas decided to screw me, eh? Not even blue. Oh! Oh my god. What? Alright. So I do... Let me double check here real quick. Event blueprint. Because if I'm going to be rolling this much, how much do I need? I need one more. Yeah, so I'll do one more multi then. Yeah, my pilot banner luck, L garbage. Let me just turn this off real quick. Okay. Back to the cabbage. Alright, and last multi. And if I fail to get it here, then I'm just going to have to wait for the tickets. I don't really have much of a choice on that one, do I? Come on. And yeah, you are quite correct. Pilot banners do suck. There's also a very good reason I've never really rolled them. I think this is the first time I've actually rolled the pilot gacha. Oh, a year and a half now. I stick mainly to the machines. So, for a reason shown here. pain. That is truly a funny looking Lacus. I don't remember her looking this green. Damn. Oh well. Yeah, at least I get Clown Troa. Not really a fan of Troa to begin with, so it doesn't really mean much to me, but... Oh well, as you can see, Lock-On isn't even new. I got him earlier, so... Is what it is. Let's pick up Mr. Troa, my consolation prize. And, yeah. May as well alter him while I'm here. I already have Bloody Mika. I got him when his banner originally came around, or his build project, I should say, originally came around. So I don't have to worry about that. It is truly a c'est la vie moment, you are correct. Alright, so with that done, my Haro stash drained and my soul broken, I'll wrap up here and head out. Like I said, I will have that FGO stream set up. I'll be doing that right after this. So remember, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 31st. Be here, because it's not going to be archived. If I don't even, if I can even stream it and not get copyright strike to hell and back, but we'll see. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And for the ones that do go to the FGO stream, I'll see you in a few days. For everyone else, I will see you in a week. Peace out. See you in the next one.